Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to your end of October 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Serena here. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck for this reading because it's goth and it reminds me of Scorpio. The sun goes into Scorpio this month, so there you go. It makes perfect sense. Oh my goodness. Well, we have some cards here that are very kind of emotional. Yeah, and we got the moon too. I wonder if it's actually a Pisces person that you're dealing with. Okay. And of course, Gemini, you are air sign, and you're somebody who tends to be detached. I know I get these, especially when I say this to air signs. I always get the obligatory comment of like, I'm very emotional, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, you're not just your sun sign, and if your moon sign is in the water element, you're going to be naturally, if your moon is in Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces, you're going to naturally be more emotional compared to your sun sign. And then you talk about your inner planets, they could easily be in Cancer. And even your Mercury, is an inner planet. And that informs the way that you view things and the way that you speak on things. So I get it, but I still believe that the sun is very, very powerful, more than these other placements, and it overshadows everything. So that's why I keep emphasizing this. The heart of the matter is the Two of Swords, and this, anytime that you have a two, it can indicate duality or a decision that needs to be made. And you see that Roman numeral 2, that it represents your symbol in astrology. And there's a lot of duality with Gemini. Gemini is the twins, and Gemini can be very contradictory because you might actually be of two minds about something. And actually with the Two of Swords, the mental is emphasized here. So you're looking at something from the mental standpoint and saying, it's not like Two of Cups where it's really hitting you in the heart chakra. It's more of trying to make something logical. And sometimes it depends on what it is. If it's a job situation, that can work better. But for romantic situations, if you try to look at something logically, you might not be able to, you might not make it, because we don't like love people in a logical way. That's why, there are so many bad relationships, because people fall in love with the most improbable people. And for reasons that sometimes they are not aware of, that can go back to childhood or even past lives. And, falling in love with somebody who's not good for you from a past life isn't any better than, somebody from this lifetime. I'm talking about because, it reminds you of something dysfunctional in your childhood. It seems romantic that it's from a past life, but it's just a bad relationship at the end of the day. And in the past position, we have the Five of Cups. So this is a card of mourning the loss of something. So what would that choice have to be if you're mourning the loss of something? Well, actually, I believe it's on Halloween. There's going to be a Mercury retrograde, and you're ruled by Mercury. Mercury retrograde, sometimes people have said that they hear back from somebody from their past. So if we look at it from the standpoint of perhaps some kind of, I don't know, situation where you were rejected by somebody, that maybe they left you and now they're, checking in with you, they're being super nice, and you're starting to soften. That kind of thing may make you just, want to know whether or not you're going to go back to them. The other thing too is that I really get the feeling that in some cases this has to do with an extramarital situation. That, excuse me, somebody that you are with has another partner. Maybe they didn't tell you when they first met you that they were married. And so you didn't go into it thinking that. But then they promised they would get divorced, and they haven't done that. And so, because we have, I'm going to bring this up, even though I usually do this afterwards. We have here the hangman in the challenged position. So this may have been, and I love this particular depiction of the hangman. It's so cute. Excuse me, I just woke up, so and my throat is pretty froggy right now. But so that may be causing some of your emotional, if you want to call it dejection, is feeling like you're being kind of hung out to dry, that you don't have the ability to control this situation, that you're being controlled by somebody else's decision that they have to make. And yet, this is also your decision. You may not realize this, but you can leave and not allow yourself to be put on ice, put on hold indefinitely. There was something else I wanted to say about that. I can't think. I was trying to think if perhaps, I think that you're the one that perhaps is waiting for somebody else. That's my feeling, because I don't think you would be kind of sad about it otherwise. I think that you feel hurt that this is happening and you want it resolved. But with the Two of Swords, it's almost making me think that you have to resolve it. Now, this could be a work situation. Maybe you got passed over for a promotion and you are sad about it, but you haven't decided whether or not to leave. The higher message is the Three of Swords. Maybe, in some cases, I think that in this particular case, it's about letting something go very decisively, cutting it out of your life very decisively. This is maybe the spiritual challenge, because it's hard. It's hard professionally and personally to cut something off. It's like, it almost, even though it might be agonizing, the hangman in that sense, you might just be giving yourself time to get used to the idea of leaving a person, a relationship, or a job. And you just can't, bring yourself to just leave suddenly. But it might be generating more negative emotions within you because of that refusal. So you have to kind of balance what you're gaining from, being, hanging on there. Who knows? Maybe with the hangman, you're in some kind of limbo professionally. Maybe you've been laid off, in the sense that you get laid off and then rehired, and you're tired of this merry-go-round. What's coming in is the Moon card. Okay, we do have a new moon in Scorpio, and for you, that's the 6th house. So if there was, I don't know if you've put in any kind of new applications, and maybe that's what the Hangman, you've been waiting to hear from another company. You haven't quite made the decision whether or not to go, because maybe you've been waiting for someone else to hire you before you put in your notice. The moon in that 6th house of work could be that trigger for you to get a new job. The moon can also indicate that something comes out. There's a new moon, there's a full moon in Taurus in a couple of, let's see. Well, actually it's in a month from now. That's the nearest full moon, and that will be in your 12th house, and that could be when something that was hidden comes out in the open. Also, the moon card connects to Pisces. Maybe this is a person that wants to come back into your life. You have to decide whether or not that's a good thing. To me, a lot of times the moon indicates delusion, that the person's lying to themselves about their situation, that they're not seeing it clearly. And so any kind of emotions that they're having and actions that they take have to be done with a certain level of conscious awareness, not to do things very happenstance, to be very, very conscious of the decisions that you make at this time, because they could be informed by a wishful thinking rather than something that is really going to be helpful for you in your life. So I hope that, that's actually that. And then the outcome, it's funny, I got this card, I think I just got it for Sag. That would be funny if it's connected to Sag. And the outcome is the Father of Swords. And this is, I think, you being able to make a decision in a way that doesn't pull at your heart, tug at your heartstrings, and doesn't generate fear within yourself. That you're just like purely in your mind and the logic. And that can be very good, especially with, actually in both areas, love and business, because irrational fears tend to dominate people's lives way too much. And irrational meaning that people are thinking the worst instead of thinking the best of a situation, and therefore anticipating that a decision that they make is going to lead to calamity. And it's like, why does that have to be the obvious end result of something? I don't see that as being the case at all. And so it makes the decision that much easier. So I think you are going to make some kind of important decision. Gemini, maybe you're at the crossroads and you have to decide which direction you're going to go in. And you do. And you don't waver. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope this was of assistance. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.